3 years ago today, I left a 5-bedroom, 3 full bath, 3-car garage, beautiful fenced-in backyard home to move into my mom's basement at 35 years old because I asked for a divorce. I divorced the nice guy, knowing I was not in love and not fulfilled in that marriage, and that we truly just were not compatible. I had no money because I had been running a successful business, but this all happened during COVID, and my business was an in-person business, so it was greatly affected by that. That on top of emotional and mental abuse I was dealing with and transition of leaving my home, I could barely function to work because I was in such a dark place.
That doesn't make sense.
You need to stop, woman. Your story hasn't even begun, and it already has more holes in it than the entirety of your brain. You divorced the nice guy because you never loved him, only to almost immediately turn around and say that you suffered from mental abuse after your business went under. We already know where you're going with this. You married a rich guy you didn't like because of course you did. And because your online business was so quote-unquote successful, you divorced him in hopes of trying to get more money through alimony, which clearly didn't work out because you went to this dark place and he got to keep the massive house you were bragging about earlier. So it's kind of hard to have pity for someone who thinks she's being clever by omitting 95% of the important details to her divorce story. But you fail to realize that by not telling us this info, we already know how the story goes, sister. But that's only because you stupid broads tell on yourselves every chance you get. Your quest for validation demands nothing less.
I lost family. I lost friends. I had people make up blatant lies about me. Instead of just coming to me and talking to me, they assumed the worst in everything. I didn't know where I was gonna go, and I lived with my mom for an entire summer until I found this crappy little townhome that I took because I could afford it. It was old, the basement flooded, but I made it my own. It was in a really bad neighborhood, and I constantly also had to deal with cops showing up at my neighbor's door. But again, I could afford it, and at that time, that's all that mattered.
What we got here is a little game of show and tell. You don't want to show me nothing, but you tell me everything.
Wow, you must have really screwed up your marriage, lady. We live in an era where a woman can blatantly lie about almost anything when it comes to her husband, and she will almost instantly be believed like 9 times out of 10. So if you're in the middle of a divorce and friends are cutting ties with you, then you not only screwed up, but you screwed up so royally that there's no possible way you could lie your way out of it. And if the situation was so bad that you were forced to move into a townhouse in the ghetto with 0 alimony or child support, then I am wondering, how epic of a fail did you commit? There is a court system that is designed to side with you 99% of the time, lady, and if you didn't get anything out of this divorce, then you must have committed one hell of a doozy. What did you do? Set your husband's record collection on fire while in the middle of a cheating session with your hacky sack coach? Did you sink this poor guy's boat while trying to sell his record collection on the black market? I mean, did you take the record collection out skeet shooting? Details, woman. We need some details here.
I was now not only a single mom, I had to figure everything out on my own. I had to get assistance with rent. I had to get help with food. I was in the lowest of lows. I went from being a 6-figure successful business owner to barely surviving. Fast forward 3 years to today, and I am in this beautiful loft. I run 3 successful businesses, and I am genuinely in love with who I am. The decision to divorce is not always easy. It is very scary. But what I do know is it's scarier staying with somebody you know you are genuinely not in love with, because it's hurting them just as much as it's hurting you. I promise you, you will make it. And the minute you'll know you've made it is when you can authentically be yourself with 0 questions.
What does that even mean?
What in the hell does being yourself with 0 questions even mean, woman? I seriously have no idea what you're talking about. You're acting like you're the first single mom to ever go on food stamps. Now, I have my serious doubts about your story. Your words say that you struggled so hard, but your tattoos tell a different tale. Now, call me old-fashioned, but I believe if I'm living in the ghetto with the police constantly at my neighbor's door with a flooded basement, I wouldn't be wasting my money on permanent markings all over my arms. I'd probably be using that money for, I don't know, bills or food, maybe a couple of Claymore mines, but clearly you're over-embellishing quite a bit. Your sob story doesn't add up, even in the most efficient of solar calculators. Just admit that you had a good thing going and you screwed it up because you resented the rich guy you married and he caught you cheating on him or something like that. I wasn't going to respect you regardless, but you should do it anyway.
Yeah, that checks out. That sounds about right.
So I sleep with men for money.
That's why I praise the Lord for prostitutes.
And if a future partner got really into the fact that I was sleeping with other men, I don't know how I feel about it. I think if we had a really good, solid foundation of trust and caring and they were meeting all my expectations in a partner, I think it'd be okay. I see it kind of the same way as I love firemen. So if I had a boyfriend who was a fireman and just came home from doing drills, I'd be like, keep the uniform on, come with me.
Really?
Sister, there is a distinct difference between you wanting to bone a fireman and a dude who fancies your profession. But one similarity to that both you and the fireman have is that the last thing either party wants to do is the bedroom bounce the second they walk in the door after a long day of, drilling. Now, even if such a man did exist, do you really think you'd want him? Think about this for a second. You're going to be spending your days sleeping with men for money, and then you have to come home and regale this man with stories about the men you slept with for money before caving in and sleeping with this man for no money. It won't work out the way you think, but that's because your, day job has ultimately prevented you from being able to emotionally bond with another human. It's a biological and psychological impossibility, sweetheart. And it'll get to the point where you'll get turned off by the very thing that turns this imaginary dude on. Face it, woman, you're spending the rest of your life alone. And there isn't a scenario in this world, up to and including Cyborg Armageddon, that'll ever change that.
So if a partner was kind of into it, but it didn't underpin our whole relationship, it wasn't the reason he was with me, I think I'd be okay with it. However, the biggest issue I would have is my client's confidentiality. I don't really want to give a lot of client stories. Even the stories I share in here are pretty tame. They don't go into detail and you certainly couldn't identify the person. So that would be my main concern. But as long as I'm getting everything I need from a relationship, if someone's enjoying the fact that I do my job, bone it.
Are you sure?
You know, they've made a boatload of political thriller movies with eerily similar plot lines. Some dude who's in a position of power gets with an Avenue stroller and she gets dirt on this guy and has to go on the run as he deploys ninjas, race car drivers, and Patrick Kilpatrick after her. And typically, any dude who gets in their way usually ends up in the bottom of a dumpster somewhere. Now, I don't know any man who'd be interested in getting with an Avenue stroller like that, especially one with as an exclusive of a client list as yours. But I honestly don't believe it's worth the risk. And even though there are many dumbasses out there who think a life of intrigue and running away from hired government goons may be exciting, though I might act like one, I am certainly not a dumbass. So for my sake and for the sake of your client's shame, I'm gonna need you to go live a lonely life now and leave me in peace. I can say with complete confidence that I have enough problems in my life without seeing Patrick Kilpatrick on my frickin' front doorstep.
That's funny because it's so true.
I think I scarred the man at the Apple store for life today. He really didn't go into work expecting to see that pop up on my computer screen, let me tell you. I had to take my MacBook Pro in to get repaired because I shattered the screen, stupidly, as I do. And so with how severe the damage was to the screen, the whole bottom half was, unusable. I couldn't see what I was clicking and the top half was still visible. But I couldn't use it and I couldn't clear stuff off of it. I take it in for my appointment and the Apple genius was about my age. He immediately notices the big blue and white sticker on the back of the laptop, which is my spicy page, OF. He notices that straight away and he says to me, oh man, before we take it off for repair, you realize you're gonna lose these stickers. So he definitely saw the sticker. Now, given it was just a shattered screen, I thought they were going to be like, yep, it's a shattered screen. Take my computer, send it off to get repaired. But apparently they have to get into it and get me to turn offline my phone. And they also have to, what else did they need to do? Run diagnostics or something to make sure there wasn't further issues with the computer.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
So let me see if I can get this straight here. You have a laptop computer that openly promotes your only freaks, yet you're still trying to be private with the whole thing? Listen, I might not be well versed in the art known as IT, but even I know if you take a computer into a shop for repairs, they're going to end up accessing all the files on that computer regardless of the issue. This has been standard practice for at least the last few decades. And considering that Apple products are pretty much a gigantic mess of proprietary duct tape, I am kind of shocked that you're shocked at this revelation. We live in a society where nothing can be repaired easily anymore. Do you honestly think they could just replace a screen on an Apple laptop for you? What the hell do you think this is, 2004? You know what? I'm not gonna lie, gentlemen and gents. I randomly guessed that year. So if there's anybody who's good at laptop repairs, let me know if that year of assessment was accurate. I'm seriously interested in how long these monopolies have been screwing us over with their tech. So let me know in the comments section.
Because I think they're trying to just upsell you a brand new computer instead of the repair. Anyway, when he opens my computer, because he needs to run this diagnostic, guess what pops up? Let's just say, for TikTok's sake, a picture of me with a very large popsicle in my mouth. You should have seen his face. And the funniest part was, so me and this guy, like the same age, the entire like crowd around us waiting to talk to their geniuses and the other geniuses they're helping people were all significantly older than us. So like the lady sitting right next to me that could pretty much see my laptop screen from where she was in her 70s. And this has just popped up. Thank God it wasn't a video with like audio playing so that the whole bloody shop could hear. This is not a bullshit. This legitimately happened to me today. And I am mortified. And I said to this man, I am so sorry. I did not intend for you to have to witness like that kind of thing.
Why are you apologizing, lady? I thought society was supposed to accept you and your career choice. Every day we hear about how the spice miner industry needs to be normalized in society and how what you're doing isn't bad, wrong, or shameful. But here you are, profusely apologizing a dude for your photos. What's with the sudden burst of shame? I'm actually surprised you didn't get angry at him and demand that you pay him $5 for gawking at your shame. But this begs the question, woman. How can you be surprised at this? He was going to see the pics one way or the other. It just goes to show that no matter how much you demand normalization of your spice mining duties, it'll never happen because deep down, you know the work is shameful and that you shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
You're trying to do your job and that's just popped up and I'm so sorry. And he was so nice about it. He's like, honestly, just don't even worry about it. He was like, my first day here, I was fixing an older gentleman's phone and the first thing that popped up was a picture of his you-know-what. So, I mean, at least he was understanding, but oh my fucking God. I'm very open about my job, but in that kind of setting, like this poor person did not ask to see that. And I really hope that he is not like scarred for life by this experience. Oh my God.
No one makes friends with a failure. Okay? You understand?
You know what? I can't speak for computer repair guys, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's the tamest thing he sees that day. People do messed up stuff with their computers. They download messed up stuff. They have embarrassing desktop wallpaper. They write tech war fan fiction. The list goes on and on. He even admitted as such when he said that he had to look at old man dong when repairing an old phone on his first day. You don't get into that kind of hellish world without a strong stomach. So while I practically have zero respect for members of the spice mining community, I have nothing but the utmost respect for the stunning and brave folks of the computer and phone repair community. And much like the people who prepare your food, they are not to be trifled with in any capacity. You are truly doing the gloriously glorious work of the intergalactic space guy Kakokachark. All hail, and for that, I salute every single one of you.
You like me, but you won't have me. You tell me I'm pretty, but do you mean it really? How many other girls hear the same words and feel giddy? Am I the top of your list, your favorite option you won't pick, because choosing me would mean you'd have to give up the attention of every other girl you see? You like me, but you won't have me, because I'm not worth your 100 girls to choose. But I promise, I will find someone else who would pick me over 1,000, and he will not be you.
Perchance some poetry before a fortnight.
Allow me to put your fears to rest, and out of respect for my time, I shall not jest. 'Tis indeed true my list of concubines does not include you. 'Tis a club of distinction in class, whose reputation I shan't sully for such an average piece of ass. With that being said, I still fear not to slum, for you act like a shark, yet you're still a slave to my chum. But enough is enough, with you I cannot meet. It has been 2 weeks and I still cannot wash your stench off of my sheets. So go away now and don't bother me with texts. I've forgotten your name, and on my phone your name is merely next. And you brought it all on yourself, madam. There is no reason for you to be mad, for this is what happens when you try to dance the tango del Chad. And that is going to do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, maybe leave a couple of comments, and share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.